Isn't it actually mad how everything can just come at us at once? Whether it's love, health, finances, your pet screaming at you despite being fed 5 minutes ago, we all get hit at one point. Of course, we can get a lot of luck and blessings as well along the way. I've experienced it personally, seen it with family and friends, all my podcast guests, in businesses, and Hollywood. We can have protocols in place to keep us steady, and people certainly get dealt different cards. Nonetheless, surfing both the rough and calm waters are an inevitable part of the human experience. In this video, I dive into this wave philosophy and how understanding it can actually be life-changing. If you're going through rough times, perhaps this video can give you some perspective. Or if you're going through a good time in your life, perhaps this video can give you food for thought on how to embrace that. Or maybe this video will have no impact on you whatsoever. If you're new here, I'm Amy Claire, and on this channel I try to understand human nature, philosophy and life stories to help you make sense of life and how everyone gets to where they are. Life is often compared to the ocean, a vast, unpredictable expanse where waves rise and fall, sometimes gently, sometimes with tremendous force. These waves of life, highs and lows, are not just random though. They are part of a pattern or a cycle that feels both inevitable and necessary. Without the lows, would we ever truly appreciate the highs? And without the highs, how do we endure the lows? The Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius, saw this duality as the essence of existence. The universe is change, he wrote. Our life is what our thoughts make it. For Marcus, life was like a series of waves, each bringing change, and it was our task to ride them with equanimity. The Stoics believed in amor fati, or the love of fate. The idea that we should embrace whatever comes our way, whether it's a towering wave of success or a deep trough of struggle. Aurelius would remind himself daily that both the misfortune and fortunes of life are temporary, and that wisdom is accepting both with the same clear, steady mind. So surfing these waves is essentially understanding that life is constantly changing. Every peak will be followed by a trough, and then every trough will be followed by a rise, and so on. But here's something that's really been pondering in my mind. Whilst you might be riding a wave of success, someone else at the exact same time is struggling to stay afloat. The ocean of life, if you call it, is very vast, and the waves crash differently for each of us. This idea touches on the notion of relativity in human experience. Friedrich Nietzsche, in his reflections on suffering and joy, recognised that life's experience are deeply personal and relative. He might argue that the peaks and troughs are not just personal cycles, but are occurring simultaneously, like countless surfers on the same ocean, each riding their own wave. For Nietzsche, the fact that one person's peak coincides with another's troughs highlights the subjective nature of the experience. What might be a monumental success to one could be a fleeting or insignificant moment to another. Søren Kierkegaard, the Danish existentialist, might reflect on this by pointing out that our lives are filled with individual moments of despair or ecstasy that others may not fully understand or even be aware of. Kierkegaard believed that while we share a common human experience, the way we experience our individual waves, our ups and downs is deeply personal and often misunderstood by those not living it. He would say that each person's wave is their own, and while we may share the same ocean, the ride is uniquely ours. Jean-Paul Sartre, the existentialist philosopher, argued that even when we're in our most isolated moments, we're still a part of a larger human existence. Essentially, the waves that either knock us down or lift us up are still part of the same ocean. I find this perspective equally as humbling as it is comforting. I suppose it reminds me that when I'm going through a real joyous time, that others are not. But then it equally reminds me that if we're going through a bad time, there's technically always light there because other people are having really good times. In modern life, however, it's easy to overlook these connections. We move quickly, often focus on our own waves, either riding high or struggling through the lows, without pausing to consider the broader ocean around us. The philosopher Martin Buber spoke of the I-thou relationship, where true understanding and empathy occur when we see others not as objects or obstacles, but as fellow riders of the waves. This perspective encourages us to look beyond our own experience and recognise highs and lows happening simultaneously all around us. I often hear people say that they think they would be so much happier if they lived in a country that was just sunny all the time. Interestingly, according to the studies, this isn't the case at all. People seem to thrive in ever-changing environments, particularly in countries with distinct seasons. Take Finland, for example. In their winters, they have very little daylight, in fact a max of 6 hours a day. Yet they've just been ranked the happiest country for 7 years in a row. Yet other countries with amazing climates rank quite low in the happiness scale. I suppose that surfing life's waves mean recognising that the highs, the lows all have their place, and that while we are experiencing our own journey, others are on their own parallel paths, with their own peaks and troughs. So it's not about fighting the current or clinging to the shore, it's about learning to ride each wave as it comes, knowing that every experience, whether thrilling or challenging, is part of the journey, not just for us, but for everyone. But as we navigate these cycles, we might find ourselves wondering, what is the meaning of these waves? Are they leading us somewhere, teaching us something? Or is it the act of surfing itself the meaning, the way we choose to ride, the lessons we learn from each wave, and the understanding we gain by recognizing that our experience is just one of many in the vast ocean of human existence? If you did enjoy this video, feel free to comment below, like and subscribe. Other than that, I'll see you in the next one.